We are back with the wonderful Phil Van Nostrand. He is the life and business coach mastermind behind Change with Phil. For this week's Tuesday talk, we wanted to dive deeper into what it means to be a business coach.
So Phil,
yes.
Business coaching obviously seems to be on the rise with a lot of entrepreneurs. So we'd love to hear your insights into the importance of having a business coach, but also maybe how you would approach someone who's been in the business a long time. Like, I know that's a couple of questions, but I just feel like it's important for people to hear that it's not just about if you have a new business.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, I understand. So for me, first of all, I want to say that I wouldn't even describe myself as a business coach. I think I am like a business and a life coach at the same time. And I don't really believe that those worlds are separated, especially for people who own their own businesses. Like, your business tends to spill over into your life all the time, if not 100% of the time. And so I call myself like a lifestyle design coach. And I'm very interested in how we as professionals spend time, whether for ourselves, on our business, what brings us joy. And to answer your question now, I do think that people who are entrepreneurs, whether they are having growing pains, whether things are broken, or whether things are working really, really well, all deserve to have a mentor or a guide in their life to help them through stuff. I hired my first coach actually when things were going really well. And I hired them because I had the money coming through. I knew things were going good, but I know that things can always be even better. And I didn't just want to like feel safe and comfortable. I wanted to continue to grow and have someone challenge me, and also have someone kind of like, I wanted to set goals with somebody and have them hold me accountable and stuff. So I think whatever stage you're at, it's really nice to have someone to reflect back. The last person who just hired me is one of the top wedding planners in all of Santa Barbara, where I'm from, actually. And he said he just really needed someone to like bounce ideas off of. He's expanding his business and things are going really, really well. He doesn't want to bother his wife with like these conversations all the time, and he wants to be able to have like a little bit of separation there. And so I think he hired me to be able to just be like a voice outside of his head that's either like calling him out, being like really honest, and also encouraging at the same time. So yeah. That answer the question?
It did. Well, and it's funny because like, even when Lauren and I started our company, I always knew that coaching, mentoring was something that we would need at some point. And obviously throughout the company, one thing I've always felt is that a lot of really successful businesses feel like they don't need a coach because doing it the same way all the time is what they think works. And it's so funny because I feel like that's when most businesses start failing, is when they really feel like it's always going to be the same, and they don't have someone standing next to them saying, you've got to shift with the times, and you've got to do
totally
something different as you go and grow as a business.
Exactly. And it's easier to miss kind of red flags when you start getting comfortable, right? Because you're not looking. And that could be, I know planners in New York I just did a job with someone on Saturday who the planner was like, I asked her if her assistant was coming to the job, and she's like, no, she's not with me anymore. I was like, what? She was amazing, But if you're not looking or paying attention, I do think that like you'll lose good talent underneath you, and competition can sneak up. And so there's lots of reasons why you want to like keep your edge and continue to think about like working on the business and not just in the business.
100%, especially in the wedding industry. I feel like every time I turn around, there's like a bazillion new planners and photographers and florists, and most of them are really good. And so it's like
too many photographers.
We won't let any more in.
No, but you're right. Yeah, a lot of them are really good. And so it's it's a really interesting thought to think like, how do I, and it's not all competitive, but how do I stay relevant and unique and offer good value, and also, to me, most important, like stay happy, or content, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the thing that has struck me most about the endeavors you've been on, and maybe what would be helpful for you to share to the world was, as you were, in this successful photography business and looking to open mentoring, life coaching, how would you maybe help or encourage people to recognize when they need help? Do you think everyone needs help all the time? Or do you think that it's like people have engagements and then do it on their own for a bit and then have engagements again?
I think, both of those work. One, I do believe that everybody can use a mentor in their life.
Yeah.
I believe that very strongly. I also think that you don't have to pay for a coach like year round, but I would, if you want to grow and be better and it's not like clear to you exactly what steps you want to take, like hire someone who's done it already, or someone who, and not just anybody whose website looks good or their Instagram ad caught you. Like there's a lot of coaches out there and a lot of people like that. So I think asking friends, who have you worked with that's been really like beneficial? I think the referral method and recommendations go a very, very long way with this kind of business. But I think that if you have a strong desire to level up or like to grow bigger than you are, or things feel like really frustrating and you're kind of stuck somehow, then that's exactly when like a good coach should come in.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's almost like when you're hiring a vendor team for a wedding, I mean, we're all in the events industry, that personality match just seems to be so important when you're looking for a coach.
I remember, so I know you two because of the Engage Summits conference.
Right.
And I hired someone, I guess I could name them, Sam Jacobson from there. Right. Yeah, he is wonderful. And I was like at my third Engage, and I went to Engage because I wanted to get into the luxury market of photography.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that going to Engage was like the right first step, but I hired Sam because I was like, look, I know I've got the talent for this. I just need to make sure that I'm positioned properly to actually like get hired by people. And so I hired him to just help me transition into luxury. And there was like a ton of feedback. A lot of it was, I rebuilt my website when I was with him, and reached out to planners, started offering free shoots to people and all kinds of different stuff. But it just really helped me solidify a direction. And so that was why I hired someone for myself.
Mm-hmm. And do you find, I don't know how many people come to you who have maybe been in business for a really long time. Do you find that it's harder for those people to maybe take new direction or ideas that they hadn't thought of, or they're coming to you for help? So are they more open? Have been really established?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have worked with people who are like 1 to 2 years in their business, with like a wedding officiant. And then I'm working with a DJ now who's been doing it for, I want to say, over 10 years. This wedding planner is about 10 years that I'm working with as well.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with another DJ who's been doing it for like 7 or 8 years. So I think it's a big mix, and the long-term ones are equally receptive to help and change as the short-term ones. So
really good.
I haven't found any resistance or anybody who really feels like they know it all or like are rejecting advice. And it's really hard for me to imagine how that would even be possible if they're asking for help.
Right.
And I don't really just be like, oh, here's what you got to do, 1, 2, and 3. It's a lot. The process with me is a lot more, just a lot of like asking questions and then listening very closely and hearing like, I noticed you just said, oh yeah, others do this, but not me. And like, why did you say that? Or I want to call people out on little things that they say and kind of just go deeper and deeper into, I want to say like hidden or shadow messages that we send ourselves unconsciously, beliefs that we have around money or like our value or worth, and kind of, and so I'm listening for any sort of stuff around that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And again, I feel like that's what makes you so special. You are just so good at listening and providing that insight in a way that people are receptive to, and they go, oh yeah, I never thought about it like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I find that we get that really from most conversations with you when we're, not even really getting into that kind of stuff. So
Good. Yeah. And I really like thinking big, I literally, before this, 1 hour before our call here, I interviewed a friend for my podcast that I'm working on, How to Live an Epic Freelance Life. And this is like $1 million finger painter who lives in New Mexico, and she's incredible. And she literally has earned over $1 million selling finger paintings, and her stuff is really amazing. It's Iris Scott, if you want to look it up. But we were talking about transitioning from into like the fine art world, or into like museum world art versus like kind of popular culture art. And she was saying, yeah, once you get over, the price point of like $70,000 for a piece of art, or $80,000. And so I was like, well, why don't you price one of your pieces at 80,000? And she's like, oh, but she's like, no, but then once I do, I'd have to price everything like that. And I was like, well, why? Why don't you just have two pieces that are like the big ones?
yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know. I haven't. She's like, I didn't think of that. And not that I like solved her problem or she's going to change or anything, but like, I'm really interested in thinking big, and like, and blowing up like ideas that we have about timelines for our life and pricing strategies and anything, because I think she could price something at 70,000. And if it does happen to sell, then I just saved her like literally 5 years of raising her prices like 10% at a time, and kind of like doubled it. I think it's possible for her. And I think it's interesting to have like one piece that's like the golden, like this one is really hard to get, but you can have it, for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong. I might be like speaking out of my ass about the art world, but I still am interested in those kinds of conversations that are like big thinking.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much, Phil, for letting us continue to learn a bit more about you and your new business. We're just so excited for you and everything you have going on. And thanks again, everybody, for listening.
Yay, thank you.